Welcome back, everybody. A lot of good stuff to talk about this morning. We got recent comments from Brad Garlinghouse talking about regulation, what we need. Then we also have the CEO of DBS, one of the largest banks out of Singapore, going from wishy-washy, I don't know what's going to happen with crypto, to an absolute declaration yesterday with Julia Chatterley. And let's go ahead and get down to what we're going to talk about here too, which is price targets going into 2021 for XRP. We're going to talk about some technical analysis experts out here that know what's going on, and we're very excited to see what they have to say. Let's roll that beautiful intro. Here we go.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at @BackupBradleyAbove at the top of the screen, and everything that we're talking about here today. We are 54 cents this morning, boots on the ground. That's right. Feet planted firmly on the ground. We are 54 cents right now, and it is looking good to me because this was something that was mentioned a few days ago by several people. I know Cryptopolis is one of them. Crypto Bull was another one, and a handful of others out here that handle technical analysis and report it and share it with the community, and we're very grateful for that from all of them. But this was that channel we're looking at between 54 and 58. I do know that there's a couple people pointing to a lower pull or even further pullback, and possibly in the 35-cent range. I don't know about that. I'm sharing it because we should all be aware that, hey, if that starts to happen, this was called by somebody. But if not, we could be preparing for that consolidation, a little bit of sell-off, obviously, right? And then consolidating and getting that buy volume back in here so we can push towards $1, because there's a lot of calls for us to hit back at $1. And man, the level of FOMO that will be in this space at $1 is, that's going to be fun to watch. Anyway, let's keep moving and get into the news right now. Atari Crypto on like Donkey Kong. Shout out to Digital Asset Investor. I know we're both from that same generation era of Donkey Kong, and it's on like Donkey Kong. But this is exciting to see the Atari CEO launching a crypto token. Blockchain gaming has tremendous potential. Yeah, we know. And don't forget about Forte, partner with Ripple and working on all kinds of tokenized gaming applications that will be revealed over the coming years, I'm sure, maybe even months, who knows. Now, this is Cryptopolis, co-host on Friday's show, which I will not be able to do a show with him this Friday, so I will let him know. But nevertheless, if you're looking to follow Cryptopolis and everything that he's talking about, make sure you follow him on onlycoin.io. He's going to be giving hourly analysis and major coins like Bitcoin, XRP, and XLM coming soon. So make sure you go sign up for that. And this is Piyush Gupta, who was a speaker at Swell in 2019. And very, very brilliant man. He is a CEO of DBS Bank out of Singapore. And I'm going to play the first 40 seconds of this or so and just let you hear how in 2019, how he had his position on the talk that he was giving about, listen, I don't know what's going to go on here. And usually when I predict something, it doesn't happen. And then I'm going to play you a clip of him from yesterday, I believe it was, either yesterday or the day before, on Julia Chatterley's show, and listen to the confidence in the declaration he makes there. So let's get the contrast right here.
Good afternoon. I want to make sure there's some people in this room. Yeah, there are. So I believe you had a great session with my friend Raghu this morning. And given his amazing fount of wisdom, it's not entirely clear to me what I can add to your body of knowledge. When I was asked to talk about the future of digital banking, and the truth is I don't really know. So what I thought I would do instead is tell you a little bit about what we've been trying to do the last 5 years, and then in the last few slides give you some sense of things that I think are going to happen. Now the reality is most times I've made these things that are going to happen, I've got them wrong. So all I say is you can have a point of view on the future, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right point of view.
There you have it. So like 3 or 4 times in the first 40 some seconds, he's apologizing. Like, I don't know. Don't sue me. I said, yeah, I'm going to talk about some stuff, but I'm not sure any of it's going to actually happen. Well, what's interesting about that is, and listen, this guy's a very humble guy because he's extremely smart. I listened to him talk at Swell, and this guy is smart, and they're doing enormous things with DBS all across Singapore, India, and other markets. You wouldn't believe it. But listen to this exchange, very short exchange here with Julia Chatterley here, and just in the first 1 minute, he's going to tell you something about this space and to watch out. Watch this.
Lots of excitement right now, and particularly in your part of the world, about digital currencies and digital assets. What can you tell me about the prospect of a DBS digital currency exchange?
Well, I think this notion that everything is going to tokenize and digitize is very real. And therefore, to be able to help companies raise capital in different forms, securities token offerings, is something that we think will start happening at scale.
So immediately he just told you everything is going to be tokenized. And he says we're not very far from securities. Tokenized securities are not that far from going at scale. That's what he just said in the first 30 seconds. That's a lot different than 2019 Swell.
We also believe other forms of digital assets like cryptocurrencies are going to continue to be extremely popular. And so that is something that we are actually indeed studying, trying to put together an infrastructure that can help companies raise capital, that can help investors access digitized assets.
Real quick, and that infrastructure he's talking about putting together, he told us at Swell in 2019, I was sitting in the room. They had been working on the infrastructure since 2014. Come on in.
And to be able to support the market in some form. It is something that we are in the process of working on. And so all I can say is watch the space.
That doesn't sound anything like him in 2019. Listen, I'm going to share with you some things I don't know. Every time I guess something, it don't happen. I mean, the confidence in this guy from a difference of a year, almost to the day, really. Right? I mean, just amazing what's coming. Now, let's just look at this for the next part of this where he talks about central banks and central bank digital currencies. Check this out, CBDCs.
I know a lot of people are. Is this somewhere, and I know it's a case of talking to the regulators and getting everybody comfortable with what's being achieved here. Is this somewhere where I think Singapore specifically and the regulators there are flying the flag? Because there's a real sense, certainly, that other nations, like the United States, for example, are behind in preparing for customers getting access to this and banks providing access to safe access.
I have to say that in the last year or so, the regulatory response to this is beginning to change in many parts of the world. In fact, as you know, many central banks are actively pursuing their own central bank digital currencies. It's not only in our part of the world, but also in many of the Western countries. The Canadians are doing it. The Bank of England is doing it. And so I think there's a broad-based acceptance that, tokenized digital assets are on us. Some countries are further along, others are less so. But I do think in addition to the stuff we talked about, that over the next year or two, this focus on central bank digital currencies is going to continue to increase, as, of course, other kinds of digital currencies. So I think everybody is going to be part of this game sooner or later.
There you have it. And he's talking about central bank digital currencies, the whole bit, regular digital currencies, the whole bit, everything being a very real thing in this space. And he also mentioned that there's different paces that around the world of regulatory advancement, and that of late, there have been some of that. Well, you know what? There has been some of that. Let's quickly right now go to a comment from Brad Garlinghouse yesterday. It's a thread of 3. Let's start with the first one here where he addresses regulatory concerns here. He says, our industry celebrates when institutions and regulators publicly laud real use cases SEC Treasury highlighting using crypto for payments, but balks at the idea that KYC AML is a fundamental part of a robust financial system that protects consumers from scams, bad actors. It goes on to say reasonable oversight is necessary if we want crypto to be the infrastructure of the new next generation financial system, with potential new U.S. guidance for non-custodial crypto wallets. Let's not forget the end goal: to build a more inclusive and efficient financial system for all. Protecting consumers has to be a part of that. I'm not against privacy. I'm against bad actors taking advantage of anonymous transactions. I've said many, many times before, KYC, AML matter for crypto to move from the fringes to an integral part of our global financial system. You know, really the call to keep the KYC AML in place, but to not go overreach and to, take a position where you want to ban, cold storage or hardware wallets, right? Just like you don't ban the wallet that's in my pocket, right? So there's a stance there, I think, looking to make that call to say, hey, let's not overreach in this moment. And I don't think that they will, because at the end of the day, this is the G7, and basically what was covered a couple days ago when Steve Mnuchin came out and said, hey, had a great call with the G7, and we talked a lot about the need to regulate digital currencies. And I think this was Brad addressing his feeling to some of this, maybe coming from, what was going on with the G7. But ultimately, this is the part that really stood out to me here. And it's the G7 G7 officials reiterated their support for a G7 joint statement on digital payment in October. We covered that document here. You can find it in the video search list. Or search the video playlist, which said digital payments could improve access to financial services and cut inefficiencies and cost, but should be appropriately supervised and regulated. Well, that to me is what it comes back to: the Treasury Department and the Financial Stability Oversight Council, known as FSOC. If they want to bring that heightened prudential of supervision to something, it's because you give it a systemically important financial market utility or financial market infrastructure. It's what is being leaned into here. If you want something to be not stifled, if you want regulations to be in place for consumer protections and things of that nature, and investment protection and transaction and, transparency on transactions, get it. Makes perfect sense here, right? But at the same time, if you deem something a SIFMU or a SIFME through the Treasury and FSOC, you can have that heightened prudential supervision without making an overreach to say, oh, we need to ban hardware wallets. No, you don't. What you need to do is take things like the XRP ledger and make them SIFMEs, right? Systemically important financial market infrastructure, and hold them to a heightened prudential, and then have everyone interact or cross across the ledger with what they're doing. And the SEC obviously has a node on the XRP ledger already anyway. So there is a way station, if you will, right, already on the network that all of these transactions can move through. And if everyone is KYC AML, the way Brad Garlinghouse was mentioning, we have the system in place. The infrastructure is there to provide the security, the transparency, right, the ability to protect for fraudulent, illicit activity. It's there. That's what I take away from what he's saying there, and not to go so far as to ban something like hardware wallets, which I don't think is going to happen. Now, let's get back to this, because This is a clip from Mr. C, Baba Cook. Shout out to you, Mr. C. Big fan of his optimism and his bullishness on XRP through this entire bear market. I, like him, am just as bullish, and I, like him, have never left. Hashtag I never left. That's right. So we're going to listen to this. I asked Hugo from Flare, where did the name come from? Because flare, in my mind, is something you shoot up in the air as a signal for rescue, right? A signal for something, right? And he gave a very, very good answer on that. So here's where we go right here. Listen to this.
Treat on a particular that is being surrounded by these Byzantine generals, and the question is around how can you trust foot soldiers who are relaying messages. One of the ways we thought it was amusing to solve that would be to use a flare signal in order to solve those kind of messaging problems. Hence, we're called Flare. And then we found out later that an inventor called Martha Coston is one of the first people to have invented the maritime flares, which is one of the key reasons that the Union Navy won in the Civil War.
Bingo. There you go. How about that? One of the key reasons that the Navy won in the Civil War. Wow. How about that? Now, that is interesting. And I love the way Mr. C says this, too. Listen to this. Everything is connected. Those who doubt are blind. Listen, I'm right there. The Flare network really does show me that there's this ability, and he just explained it. If there's any kind of, disagreement with consensus or anything, Flare is in there to say, hey, we send a Flare signal to rectify that situation between anything that's basically interoperating with that network and any other network. So it's extremely exciting to me where we're going here. There's no doubt about it. Now, here's what you came for. Let's look at these price targets that people are calling for here, because it is pretty exciting. And I do think we're on the cusp of seeing some price action, and that and 50 cents won't get you a cup of coffee. But nevertheless, it is how I feel. So let's take a look at it here. This is from Peter Brandt, one of the most prominent analysts in the industry, believes that XRP could rise to $1, 40-year trading veteran, supports the thesis that the coin is forming a bull flag on the daily chart. Me, likey, a lottie. That's what I say. And, I had it on here twice. Excuse me for that. So, and then here we have Crypto Bull giving some information based on 2017 fractal, right? Taking a look at it and basically overlapping, those moves in that chart action in 2017, moving it over, superimposing it, if you will, on the market right now and the charts right now. And this is what it would look like if you saw that. And these are approximate XRP monthly targets. For the month of December, we are not out of the range or realm of hitting $2.50 to $3. And man, is that exciting. Can you imagine that in a few weeks from now, we'd be between $2.50 and $3? Whew. That's exciting. January, February, we could be looking at $14 to $21 XRP. Now we could see probably a sell-off and a pullback in March to $7. April pulling back further through April, May, June. $5, maybe possibly pushing back in the $7 range in July. And then $55 price target in August. What? I got to tell you, that's exciting to me. And believe me when I tell you these things. And $100 in September. Now, when I share with these things, obviously, they could all not be true. They could all not happen, right? But this is the fractal information, the technical analysis just superimposed over where we are today, looking ahead the next 12 months or so. So, we take it for what it is, but this is what could unfold or something very similar to it. Now, who's upset about that? Not this guy. The other thing is that I don't take off the table that we are talking about XRP, which is not a stock. It is not a stock. It does not move like a stock. It is money, in fact. And if we should see a synchronized event of the central banking system and large payment providers move on to this network and collateralize their tokens on this network, it will bring an instant value spike to the token XRP because of the utility and the liquidity being brought on to the network. Don't believe it, it's still true. So that, to me, could take us even beyond these things. And then looking here at this payment channel that he has, or a pay channel here, just looking at this, or just a channel, price channel, I guess I say, a price action. You can see 92 cents in the first pop, $3, $19, and $120 looking down at the end of 2021, right? If you look at the chart and the years here, right? You know, we could see all of this motion take place. Does it mean it'll happen? No. But this is looking back at history and saying, hey, history doesn't always repeat, but it certainly rhymes. And that much we do know is true about the markets and about life itself, right? So this is going to get real interesting. I mean, if you're telling me that by, before the end of next year, I could be staring down the barrel of $100 or $100 plus XRP, hell, $50. I mean, to me, that would be remarkable. And I just, oh my gosh, and I can't even imagine what this market would look like with the flurry of activity in it. Anyway, that is exciting to me. We are still at 54 cents or something this morning, right? Let's just take one more quick look at this before we get out of here. And it's just, of course, if I want it to refresh, isn't that something? You want it to refresh. You're recording a show. It's 55 cents right now. 55 cents. But, it's exciting. It is exciting to me. I do think that we are in a moment of time that we're not going to return to the 22 cent level anymore. And I could be wrong about that. And I'll make the video about it if I am. But it feels much different than 2018. And when this thing really does let loose, there's no putting it back in the bottle. I mean, we'll see pullbacks. Every market does, but my goodness, is this exciting. All right, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. That's going to do it for me. Leave a comment below. Share with somebody you know. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you check out all the links in the description box and the comment section. Guys, I Trust Capital. It is the best crypto IRA. Tax-deferred, tax-free. After you're 59, you put your money in crypto right now and then get it out when it's 59. You don't have to worry about nothing when it comes to taxes. Speaking of taxes, I'm going to be talking to the crypto tax fixer, Clinton Donnelly, who is going to talk to me about the Spark token airdrop tax and the XRP notion of crypto being a currency and what that might mean for tax structure as well. So that's going to do it for me. I will catch all of you on the next one.